Hello, and welcome to the Sweet Talks podcast. My name is Chantel, aka Sweet Talks 777 on Instagram.
And I'm Rihanna.
And I'm Nikima.
Okay, so today's topic is mental health in the Black community and the stigma that may follow it. So it's a pretty deep one, y'all. I don't know who wants to kick us off this time. If anybody.
To be honest with you, I can't really think of stigmas right now because it's after a certain amount of time. as we go on, it'll come back to me. But I suppose one of the big ones is or are access and support, and I suppose the judgment about a judgment, because a lot like I don't know if you lot were listening. The first episode we recorded, Chantal was referring to something about her family member and people calling that person crazy and things like that. So that's the stigma that, like, you know, especially if you're black, it's kind of like we don't do those things. We do one or two things. We go to church if we believe in God, or we go to mosque, whichever way you want to call it, or we just get on with it, sort of thing. So that's the stigma.
Or you sip on a piece of tea and you chill out and you cool out.
You know what I mean? Yeah, basically. Or you just keep working and working until you drop dead one day, and that's pretty much what happened. So that's a stigma of going and accessing support. We don't do that as people of color, even though I hate that, but you know, as black people, whatever.
I think you're right.
So yeah, that's the biggest one, I think. Anybody else?
I think there's a stigma, and I think it's touching on what you were saying, Rihanna. A bit lean. The stigma is that, you know, black people can handle a lot more than the average person. Yeah. My gosh.
I think that's slightly would
black women are strong. I think to a degree maybe, but I feel like the stigma is a negative one.
Yeah, sorry to just jump in.
Please.
But you're right, because you know them articles. The article that came out recently about black women in labour, how they're less likely to get the support or the help that they need in terms of pain relief.
Yeah. Because
they are assumed that they can handle the pain because they have darker complexion. But anyhow, continue.
No, I think you're absolutely right. And that's one of the reasons why I brought it up. And yet they're 5 times black women are 5 times more likely to die.
Yeah.
5 times more likely to die. And apparently the year before, last year, 2018, they were 3 times more likely to die. So it's increased by 2. Asian women are 3 times more likely to die. What the hell is going on? There is a culture going on, unfortunately. And unfortunately, nurses, midwives, some of them are phenomenal, but some of them are perpetuating this behavior. It's so, and I argue that management are perpetuating it. Oh my God. I want to say so many things, but I have to hold back a little bit because I'm a bit passionate.
That's okay. Time. It's okay for you to be passionate though, darling.
But there's no time.
Yeah.
There's no time for passion yet.
We can't go into the amount of passion that Nikima has.
Yeah.
But
this is life and death. It's not even just about mental health. This is literally there's an epidemic with black women. We are unfortunately getting under attack. Let's just without going too deep, and that's all I'm saying. So.
Yeah, but I think that you are right, there is quite a lot of stigma. But I think it is negative in some ways because you kind of expected to get on with it. But I think in some ways it depends on how we use it. So I think it can be positive because, like, if you look at stuff that we've had to go through and are still going through as black and ethnic minorities, the persecution that you face, I mean, now it's probably more microaggressive than anything else, but I think the fact that we still get through life, still do pretty decent jobs. I mean, all 3 of us are trained beautiful black women, and we're all, you know, moving to higher degrees within our profession. So it's still possible to do, and maybe use it as a driving force. But I do see how it can be destructive. Like, you know, we're supposed to be strong, so therefore you must, like, you know.
And I think
keep
a
it
lot
going.
of us feel like we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice.
Yeah.
About sitting back, relaxing, chilling out. Like, the world is against us in a lot of scenarios. You know, like, now a lot of parents are worried about that their children are going to come back home in one piece. You know what I mean? So,
Very true.
You know, I love what you're saying, but I kind of disagree. I think maybe we should have a choice. Maybe we can break down and cry.
No, we can. No. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
I encourage that. I think we should be able to do those things. But what I'm saying is, I don't necessarily think that the world allows that for us, which is why I'm saying that for some people, in general terms, a lot of us feel like we don't have the choice, but we do have the choice. We have to take back our power and own that. So yeah, no, I totally agree with you, but I'm saying
in this day and age, there is we don't have like this in the back of our mind. No, gotta keep going, gotta make this rent, gotta make this mortgage, gotta.
Yeah, and I think,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think because a lot of our issues as a people is like the economical structure.
Come on now,
and that
talking
has always had a impact on our mental health anyway.
Oof.
So we know that one of the things that can contribute to good or bad mental health is actually the economics that you have around you. So if you know that you're struggling to meet rent consistently because you're in a job that's underpaid, and we know already that women are more underpaid than men, let alone being black. So if you're a black woman, you are doubly underpaid. And if you were, let's say, and you are a black man, you're already underpaid more so than your counterpart. So, or ethnic minority man, you are already underpaid in comparison to your counterpart. So I think that knowing that you're in a field, or knowing that you're in a particular company, you're already undervalued for the same skill set and the same job. And then on top of that, you've also got your children to think about. So Sam over there is earning probably 15k more than you. And, you know, Jabari over here is earning 15k less.
I like that.
And then they've still got 2 kids, a mortgage and whatever else. So Jabari's always going to feel it more than Sam.
And God bless Sam, usually, if you think of inheritance and wealth, like generationally, you know, who the individuals that are coming from black and ethnic minorities are, especially black communities, are less likely to have that kind of wealth coming from parents, grandparents, or whatever it is. I mean, it could be a car. You just passed your test and someone's bought you, you know, that car, or whether it doesn't have to be physical money. It can be just inheritance, some collateral of some sort. We're less likely to.
I do slightly blame us for that as well, though.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Because I think that there has been some wasteful, or even maybe some lack of cohesion. I'll actually use that one. I think there's been, because there's been a lack of cohesion. I understand that why.
Okay, to break down a little why.
Why?
You see, I just like, why is there not the cohesion's not there compared to
So the lack of cohesion is more so to do with like how we were taught to be for a few hundred years. Let's put it that way, because I don't want to start that topic, so we're just going to leave it like that. So you know what I know. Our listeners, I'm pretty sure, know what I'm talking about.
Some of us are just sitting back and drinking the drink.
Like Rihanna's just sipping on a bigger right now. But
that's my
and I understand that is a big part, but there are also people who I would say were able to emancipate themselves, free themselves from that particular, me too, to free themselves from that particular type of mentality. And what I don't like, or what I blame ourselves for, is that those who were able to achieve that didn't meet with like-minded people, or very rarely did.
I completely get where you're coming from and agree.
And I think that it's that lack of cohesion to spread that and to build. So even now, okay, we're using a medium that is affiliated with our time, so podcasting, to be able to give knowledge and so on and so forth. I don't see why they weren't able at their time to use whatever it was of their day to be able to do the same thing. They're just creating up little Wall Streets. It didn't have to be a lot. It could have just been like a shop here, a shop there, and have it something that passes on to that community.
How do you know that wasn't happening?
It may have been happening in some places, but I don't think it was a forceful movement. And I think if we had more of a forceful movement, because I mean, out of the thousands and millions of us that there are, to say that there wasn't at least 100,000 of us, like even if it was just spread across continents,
sure.
And I'm pretty sure that that's even a very small number.
Yeah.
To say that there's even 100,000 of us that weren't of that mindset, I think is very
naive, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get that, and I completely agree, and I want to add a little something in there as well. Okay, so obviously 100 years we had a different mindset to the one that we had now. Technically, we physically we've not come out of that. Like it's only been 90 years. Since, and it's been years and years and years of build up of stuff. So for the 90 years that it quote unquote ended. Physically,
quote unquote,
to now, I think we've done tremendous. Considering we are of a traumed, or we've come from, or we've experienced trauma. Sorry, can you hear me there? Hello. So yeah, I don't know whether I explained that correctly, but I'm saying from that experience of us physically ending to now, I think we've done well.
Yeah, I don't disagree that we haven't. I don't disagree that we haven't made movements. I just think that
we could have done a lot more.
Could have done better. That's the only thing. It's not that I don't discount and I don't disregard the stuff that we have done, and I love the people that were at the forefront of getting those things done. But I do feel like there's certain things that could have been done more. So I must admit, like, all right, for instance, like my dad for me anyway, my dad is a very wise man.
Love self-disclosure. Go on.
Yeah. So I believe that he's a very wise man.
Big up daddy.
Big up daddy, yes, man. So there's a lot of things that he says and does, which I would say is wise of his time.
I love that.
Do you get what I mean?
I love that.
So his wisdom is very strong. It is very good. I think that he gave me a lot of stuff to go from. So even like how business minded I am, that is him. That is my dad, 100%. Yeah, because I remember one time I asked my dad, "Can I get £10, Daddy?" He gave me £1, make it into 10. Do you know what I mean? And then that's what triggered off my ability to be able to deal with business. So he had a very wise mind. But I think that it was more so for some of the things he thinks of, or some of the things that he suggests is more for his time.
Okay.
And I think that if there were certain wisdoms that were passed down on a mass scale, that maybe we would have caught up a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Certain things.
Yeah.
And I think that, just to bring it back to the topic a little bit, I think the same thing relies in terms of like mental health. So for the stigma that we hold about mental health, if we actually had people who had certain wisdoms or certain experiences around mental health and being involved with mental health or whatever the case may be, and having had them pass that on in the wider community rather than allowing some of the stigmas to perpetuate, then,
I agree.
It's something that we could have probably started working on a lot sooner.
Yeah. And sorry to double back to kind of where you got excited and veered off.
Because you disappeared for a bit, Rihanna.
Sorry.
I was listening. I was sipping my juice. I was listening.
Yeah.
Because I agree with both of you. I see both sides. I thought it was excellent. Also, when you're talking about Sam and Jabari, I think sometimes Jabari being us, the community, I think we Jabari are sometimes scared to take the risk of going outside of the box that we have been put into.
It's very true.
Because for fear of not being able to reach Sam's level.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
or not being given what we feel we deserve the same way Sam is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And sometimes you know what it is. Sometimes when you go for job interviews and you see Lucy next to you, you know what it is?
It's very true. Hi, Lucy.
Sometimes you know what it is. And you could be more qualified than Lucy, but you know what it is sometimes.
That has actually happened. I have been
Multiple
qualified
times.
more than Lucy.
Yeah.
And know that Lucy got a more senior position than me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Good luck to you, Lucy. God bless you.
That's right.
It's been more. You've had. I assume it's been done more than once to yourself,
Yeah.
and myself and others. I remember I was applying for. I'm not going to say the university, and me and a counterpart in the same class at college applied for the same course.
Wow.
We had no experience in schools, and I was told, "Oh, no, because you got no experience in school. Sorry." And the other person, Lucy, beautiful blonde head, anyway, sorry, was said, yes, come along. However, between now and when you start, get 4 weeks of working in the school.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, okay. And I was tempted to go to and, fight for it. Like,
Yeah. So I agree. Like sometimes there are things that we need to take responsibility, accountability for. I remember a while ago I was in the car with my mum and was listening to one of the radio stations anyway, and this black guy, they were talking about blackness or black people or whatever, and this black guy, he was a financial advisor or some sort of manager in a bank somewhere in London. I don't know where it was. Anyway, he was talking about why black people are less likely to be given money from the bank, right? And sorry to veer off, I will come back, but it just kind of you gave me this, and he was basically saying because what happens is, or what they've noticed is that a lot of younger black people will, rather than take that money and invest in a deposit for a house, we would then spend that money on cars or things that we cannot maintain, and then those things get repossessed, and it's kind of like, unfortunately, you're all tainted with the same brush type of thing.
Wow.
So saying all that to say, I think sometimes that comes back to mental health. I think when one person says, "Oh, I'm struggling with this," everyone kind of just gets tainted with the whole.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? With the same thing, sort of thing. So, but I think, I don't know a lot of people that have had the courage to say to their family, parents, whatever, "Hi, my name's Jabari and I'm struggling with." Do you know what I mean? Because we all have that uncle in our family that's alcoholic.
Well,
Do you know what I mean? We all we all have that family member that's addicted to whatever, or that's depressed, or do you know what I mean?
You're right. Whether it's gambling, crack cocaine,
we all have
or
an auntie that's struggling from postnatal depression, and her child is 16 now.
very
Do
true.
you know what I mean? Like,
True
we
that.
all have
True
that,
that.
but yet have
Yeah,
those things
still.
been addressed? You know, for fear of maybe their reaction or
whatever.
Sometimes those people don't actually want help. That's another thing. Sometimes misery loves company, as horrible that saying that is, but sometimes people are just not ready.
You know what the thing is, though? Do you think that everybody knows that they've got a problem?
No.
Because I think that that's part of the problem. So when they're saying that, so when you're saying
ignorance is bliss, isn't it?
exactly, so when you're saying that, like, they don't want the help, I think actually it's because some people don't know that they need it, because they're just used to that way of being.
Yeah.
That it's become their normal. Not saying that it's not normal, but you know what I mean. It's like it becomes their normal and their normality. So they almost don't know how to distinguish between what it was like to be something else.
Yeah, yeah. But I do think that some people don't want it. I think some people are not ready, which is fair. I think some people just don't want it for whatever reason, whether they're scared of. Because I think sometimes the people that don't necessarily want it, it's because maybe they've heard things.
Yes, stigmas.
Yeah.
They've heard things have how it is. you know, Shelly Ann told them,
Yeah.
oh, I went in there and they cut open my school.
Good old Shelly Ann.
You know what I mean? It's like,
They've
well,
seen some experiences that have been
you know what I mean? If you cut up in your school, we would know about it. You know what I mean? But because you
It's true.
said that and you perpetuated that and into their thought process, and now,
It's true.
you know, Michael doesn't want to go.
God bless Lucy, Sam,
Michael.
Jabari.
Yeah, God bless all your names.
So yeah. Any other stigmas?
See, I think that the stigmas do come from a place that is relevant, though. So I think when you think about our history, when you think about our history with like medical professionals and stuff like that, like we were technically lab rats.
No, technically. Fully?
We were lab rats.
We were fully. My goodness. The history of gynecology in black women. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
If you don't know,
Really bad.
My God.
If you don't
black
know, get
women
yeah,
and
just
pregnant
try
women. Oh, my
Really
goodness.
terrible.
I'll just say that
Really bad.
they use whole, like, anyway, horsepower. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Horsepower.
But then the same thing
Madness.
also happened in terms of like mental health as well. So there was this there was this paper that was released. I think it was in, whenever they got rid of Jim Crow laws in the US, there was this paper that was released. I remember reading it like a couple years back, and there was a line in there that said like, psychosis jumped from a white woman into a black man. So it wasn't like it was actually a turn of phrase that they used. So it wasn't like, it didn't really happen obviously like that, but it was a form of control. So like, even if you look at the history of psychiatry and so on and so forth, that was part of it. So it was used as a form of method of control.
Psychiatry
Psychiatry
wouldn't surprise me, yeah.
Yeah. And because of that, I think that obviously that has added to our narrative in terms of how much we trust certain medical professionals. And I wouldn't say that it didn't happen here too. I'm pretty sure it did on more than one occasion. I'm so sure it has. I don't have evidence for that, but I will make sure that I find that paper so that I can reference it at some point. But I definitely think that the stigmas do come from somewhere, but I think in the fact that we do need the help and we need it as much as anybody else, that it's important for us to, well, yes, possibly. But because of that need, I think that it's important that we do start to break down those stigmas.
I agree.
Because of the effects that it is having. And you know what? I actually think as well, and nobody ever talks about them, but I feel for them. People who run road. You know,
Run
people
road.
So sorry.
Yeah.
Let me reiterate what that means. My bad. So people who maybe end up in a life of
I don't mean.
Yeah, of life of some
Gangs,
sort of
crime,
crime.
crime,
Gangs, guns,
selling drugs.
all of that stuff. Because do you know what? I've actually realised in the last year and a bit, I have had a number of people who've lived that life come through to me.
Oh, I think that's absolutely phenomenal.
It's great.
Keep doing it, people. Go on.
Yeah, so please, I hope they still keep coming. And if I don't know if they'll listen to something like this, but if they do, great. But if not, cool. But like the amount of them that have come through to me with things to do with like PTSD, every last one of them are highly anxious.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
I'm not surprised.
So I'm just like, okay,
Think of what we're doing.
there's a whole lot of stuff that you're doing. Effectively, you are moving in realms of a military person or a soldier. Maybe it's not, the realms in which society would want you to, and that's up to them and whatever. But the fact that you're actually putting yourself in those situations, you're seeing people being killed, you're seeing maybe things going down that,
Exactly.
Some of them have told me some stories and I'm like,
yes.
Okay. And even me as a therapist, I'm like, I don't even really know
Yeah.
what to do with all that.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a lot. It's a
I
lot.
can deal with the emotions, but whoa, that's a lot. And like even stuff that they have to go through. There's one person who's a gang member. Obviously, I'm not going to out the gang. I'm not going to out him. But like stuff that they had to do just to get in.
Yeah.
Slightly ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you after podcast. But yeah, so like,
Everybody's
even
like,
sorry, guys.
all the
Sorry,
listeners
guys.
are like,
it's just in case that it's
trying to
specific to
protect
the gang,
you
and I'm trying to protect
and us.
that particular. I'm trying to protect.
Okay, I didn't mean that. I meant like confidentiality to everybody.
Oh, okay.
Wow, guys. You lot are terrible. You see, you lot are part of the problem.
Why? Tell us. I was laughing.
Look where your mind was, because I wasn't thinking that. I went confidential for everybody.
Okay, I got you. Sorry, babe. So yeah, I don't know if it's actually affiliated with just a particular gang. So I won't want to say it on there. But the stuff that they had to go through just to get in, and that was just to feel that they could be protected.
All right.
So yeah, so even like all that kind of stuff. And then, like I said, they never really get spoken about. And I think that nobody enters that life without. Well, no, I think there's an idea, but I think that they don't. I don't think they understand the full gravity or to what extent until they get in it. Yeah. And I think that also because what they're shown before they get in there is like, run this for me and you'll get like some trainers, or run this for me and you'll get whatever. So they get like little gifts and whatever else. And it is a form of grooming. And nobody talks about that either. The fact that actually these young guys, predominantly, there are girls as well, but they're all being groomed.
Yes, they are.
Into these different things.
Yes, they are. And they are young and they are young. Vulnerable.
So if we're bringing this back to the topic now.
Sorry.
At hand.
We segued. Apologies. Back to stigma. Yes.
Yeah. That's all I've got.
Okay, so for bringing it back to the stigma, so I think even hilarious. So bringing it back to stigma, I think that the fact that a lot of us may view our own people that are probably in that type of lifestyle as being a particular way. I think you need to make sure that you're actually treating them as human beings, and I think that's what people forget to do, and I think that's how they get to that nth degree anyway, is that they haven't really been treated in the way that they needed to be treated initially.
Oh, I've got one as well.
Go ahead.
Being dismissed.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Dismissed. Yeah,
big one.
I want that to sink into the listeners.
Can we just stop? Yes.
Let's take a minute, like a 2-second silence.
Okay, that's the end of silence.
Yeah, so being dismissed, and I think a lot of everybody in their lifetime has at some point have said something, and they've not been heard. And for those that have kind of either said to their, I'm going to just use parents or family members or someone around you, I feel XYZ, and look at it like, okay, have you taken the chicken out?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
true.
you just continue, and
life continues as normal,
right? Or you've this is a bit extreme, but you know that parent or whoever has walked in your room, clearly seen you in distress, clearly seen you probably for the sake of this example, self-harming or whatever. And then kind of either walked back out, thrown you a towel, walked back out, or been like
attention seeking.
Yeah, or when you finish that, come downstairs and come out with you, whatever you're doing. So
that's deep. That's deep.
I think that's a whole topic.
Yeah. Deep. But that's another thing, and I think, and then if that person then carries that, and then if they find the power within themselves to then come and seek support, the chances are they're going to think that the therapist is going to do this.
Because why is it usually that it's
us?
Well, no, that it's people that we trust and look up to that.
Because they can.
Just, yeah,
because they can.
It's very true. But the thing is, though, you may not feel dismissed by someone you don't trust or look up to.
It might just be whatever.
Yeah.
But it hurts deeper.
It will hurt deeper. It will cut deeper when it's someone that you love and trust.
And that's always the way, because that's what we do as people. We hurt the people that we love, don't we?
Like dismissive and not validating or invalidating someone's emotions and feelings. My gosh, I tell you.
But that's another stigma for you. Anybody? Any more ladies?
I think there's a stigma as well in terms of like how we might feel that we're treated. or what we feel like might happen if we go and ask for support. So I think might even be like a self stigma. So okay, I need to ask for support. That means that I'm weak.
That means there's something wrong.
That means there's something wrong.
They're gonna lock me up.
Yeah, and in fact, you know how much times I've had that question, like, oh, can you section me? Are you the person who sections me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you the person that will put me in the loony bin?
Mm-hmm.
Hate that word.
I
But
know. You're
like,
right.
are you the person that will put me in the loony bin? Like, no.
You're
First
right.
and foremost, no.
Second of all, I don't want that much responsibility.
Exactly.
And
Do you know
is
what I
there
mean?
even a loony bin anymore? I mean,
No. I don't think there was in the first place, but I
Okay.
think it was just people just got put in there and never
Refer
let
to-
back
yeah.
out, innit?
indeed.
So,
You're right with that.
and I think that's also something that people worry about is like,
How much can I be vulnerable?
Exactly. Because if you think about it, I think more so with black and ethnic minorities, we're kind of taught not to let anybody know your business.
No, talk your business.
No talk your business.
Mm-hmm, true.
No chat your business on road. Nobody air out your dirty laundry.
That's right.
So I think that
It's
all
true.
of them stuff, all of those
That's a
kind of
stigma.
rhetorics kind of keep it like, oh, I can't tell nobody. Like if I'm feeling something, I can't tell nobody. I gotta keep going.
So
I gotta
not
keep
helpful.
moving.
And that's probably one of the reasons why we end up having low mood
much
and then
issues.
end up in secondary care.
Yes.
You know what I mean? 1 minute you know that she was quite low or he was quite low, and then the next minute isn't, and you're thinking it's only been 6 months. Like how?
Did you see? I saw an article this morning on Instagram about this lady who was a nurse, a black woman who was a nurse that killed herself.
Yeah, in America.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought
I
it
never
was
saw
here.
that.
I could be wrong. Sorry, it's here.
I thought it was here. I'm
You
not
could
sure.
be wrong.
Don't quote
I
me.
didn't
You could
see
be
it.
wrong.
She was a nurse, but she killed herself because she didn't have enough
Shift.
time.
Yeah, it was
Something
shift.
like that.
Yeah.
She
No,
didn't
she was
have enough
Nottingham. Was it
time.
Nottingham? Sorry.
Yeah, like her shift patterns didn't give her enough time to live a life.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And I think she complained to her management or whatever.
You're right.
And I
Actually,
don't think anything was kind of done about it.
it was the UK. And my colleague,
Okay, so the NHS is about to get sued.
my colleague was, gosh, black woman, obviously. My colleague was like, you know what? Yes, she understands that, and the shifts were ridiculous. You meant to have a certain amount. In fact, something to do with you can work 10 hours and then have like an hour break, and that's your break, and then you do another stretch.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow.
I said, isn't there like
That's
a period?
too
Isn't
much,
no.
isn't it?
In fact, technically, on paper, there should be a certain amount of gap, but what's actually happening in practice is not what being
What's
adhered
supposed to be
to.
done.
And I feel it for the nurses. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And then I think about the care that these nurses have given under this pressure, being half asleep. Technically, I'm not saying they all are, but
And then going in your car and driving home.
oh yeah.
And that's if you get to go home and not working a double shift.
Oh, that too.
Goodness me.
So there's actually a lot of pressure. I think that we started kind of come a little bit full circle, like the pressures. We talked about economic pressures, but also having maybe just social pressures. Like you want to be able to socialize, you want to be able to have that relief, but you can't
Finances is-
because
yeah.
of, again, going back to your economic situation. If you don't do these things to make your people happy at your workplace, then
You might-
actually do you have a job?
Exactly. Wow.
Saw that this morning.
I kind of want people to just consider their own stigmas that they might have on their own, or mental health in general, or is that stigma the same if that person's of a different background, heritage, or, you know? Yeah.
And also, like, we was actually going to talk about another topic, but I think now it actually falls quite nicely for those people that want to access some support. That is self-care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Putting yourself first. Do you know what I mean?
Oof.
Now, I know that you probably, there's a lot of stigmas, a lot of labels, a lot of things that people may say to you. As much as you can, try and park that and do what you need to do. Because there are people out here, myself included, and us lot in here, who have actively sought out therapy.
Yeah.
And have gone and have
think we all
thoroughly
have.
enjoyed that. That's what I said, yeah.
Yeah.
And thoroughly enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's not going to be easy as well.
Oh,
and it wasn't
no.
for us. You know,
It's
we
not
had to be vulnerable. We had
Yeah.
to say, you know what, I effed up, or I've learnt this unhelpful thinking, whatever it
Yeah.
is. And being okay with not being where you're at or where you want to be is okay. It's part of a process.
It's a journey.
Like, you'll appreciate when you reach the goal that you want to reach to, whether it's in 2 years, 10 years, 5 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact that you're working towards it, it helps with your self-esteem. helps with your self-confidence, self-value,
Yeah.
self-worth. And I argue that people should be more vulnerable with people that they trust. If this is a therapist and you don't quite gel, we was talking about that one of the podcasts, just kind of like you don't have to stay with them. And not every therapist is for you.
It's very true. I think I said that in the last podcast when we were talking about it. Like, finding a therapist is almost like trying to find a good partner.
Oh,
you have to
yes.
have someone that you gel with and that you actually
Equilibrium.
can like work with and
Mm-hmm.
actually have them draw out the best in you. And sometimes actually the worst to actually try and tap into some of that
Come on
stuff that
now.
you need to get rid of and
Come
empty
on.
out and clean out.
And you want to do that before you meet your partner, don't you?
Well, yeah. If you're gonna,
Ideally.
if you already have a partner, then you know you need to still get the stuff cleaned
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
But
hell yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's like decluttering.
Yeah. Detox.
Yeah, your
Decluttering.
internal.
I think you've got to like detox your body, but also detox your mind and your
Love that.
emotions as well.
Have to.
Because sometimes you can carry a lot of stuff that you
Definitely.
didn't even intend to.
It
Emotional
definitely- I just think on a daily
regulation.
basis, as a young black woman, young black man, young black anything, just think about the daily things that you encounter. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
True.
That are hard. Like, it might be the odd look stairs. It might be walking into Asda and Frederick is following you
Frederick.
all around the veg.
Lucy,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, these things that
Sam.
happen that don't happen to your counterparts
Jabari.
or whatever, that happen to us on a regular basis. After a while, it's gonna
Get to you.
This microaggression slightly going on to that next topic.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
Yeah, we'll be going to microaggression at another podcast.
cool.
I was just taking the time. I was just thinking about all the stuff that we talked about, and I'm like, yo, we deal with a lot, man.
Yeah.
Yes, we do. Telling ya.
Collectively.
You know what? It's so funny.
Trust me.
Like, even everyone loves this scenario or example or whatever you want to call it. Where I work, so I got my hair in braids at the minute. So where I work, I was sitting at my desk and talking and whatever. One of the ladies meant no harm, and she was like, "Oh, I love your hair." So this is another one that we face, guys. Anyway, I love your hair,
Sarah.
and then yeah,
Becky.
she asked, "Can she talk to you?" Before I even responded,
She's
everybody
in there.
knows
You don't never
she's
talk
already
about-
in it. And
Yeah.
I said to her, "Well, it's too late now. You're starting to touch my hair."
Can I just say that happened to me in the gym on Tuesday?
So and this, now this is probably our 16,000th time
Yeah.
that this has happened in our lives.
Yeah.
So even things like that, yeah, even things like that. Now not everybody means harm when they
Yeah,
do
it's
it.
not a harmful thing, but it's good to at least wait for a yes or a no. Like, I'm not a dog. I'm
Why?
just getting the right to pet me.
Why don't I get that as much from Asian women? It's mainly just white women, or is it just me?
I get it more from white
I've-
women. I've had it from a couple of Asian people, but they, to be honest, I
have
think
not,
the
as far
distance,
as I know.
Yeah,
the difference is, I think between the two is that an Asian woman, well,
don't really care.
Well, that's what I was thinking.
that too.
I was
but
thinking
no,
they're not interested.
I think it's more so that they actually waited for a yes. But those are people that I've actually worked with. But I've had literally random people. So like I said, when I was in the gym on Tuesday, I was combing my hair up to try and put it into a bun. And this woman's like, "Oh my gosh, your hair's so nice. Oh my gosh, it's so soft." Well,
What
your
did you
hands in my head. I don't know what she expected. But
so
before there was not even really a question. There wasn't really like time
There
for
was
an
just
answer.
violation.
There was just a
Don't
straight
do
hand
it.
in my head to tell me that my hair's soft. But you could have asked that question.
Lucy,
Thank you,
Becky.
Lucy, for that. I mean, yes, my hair is soft, and I had to wash my hair that night.
but
because
why are they so
I
surprised?
don't know if you picked your nose or scratched your ass before you did that.
Why are they so surprised?
I don't know.
Because of
But
how
my
they
hair's
think
pretty
about
curly
us.
though.
But that's a whole nother.
It's so racist, and it doesn't. You probably don't mean to be racist, Lucy, but please
Stop
have
doing
a think. Just
I feel
have
like
a
this
think.
is the episode of Dear White People.
Oh, please have a think first. I really don't want people to touch my hair unless I know them.
Exactly.
and the
Or at
thing-
least I give you a chance to put antibacterial on. Like I said, I don't know if she picked her nose or scratched her ass before she put her hand in my head.
Lucy's touched
Or both.
Lucy's touched your hair now, right? but Lucy doesn't know that she's the 5th person
That
that
day.
has touched my hair that day. So then when you now go off on Lucy, remember you're working out?
Taught the
When you
thing.
go off at Lucy,
Hey.
Everyone's gonna label you as the
Claire,
angry black
Emma,
woman.
and
Aha.
everybody else around you are staring at you like
Aha.
angry black woman.
Oh,
So
that.
now we have the angry black woman syndrome.
Not only microaggressions, we've got to hold down this angry black woman syndrome.
But bringing it right back to the topic, because I realised we keep
We
get
going
excited.
way off topic with this
Well,
one.
you know, this if we're being
It
honest,
is.
this is us. This is us. Like at the end of the day, like I said, the very first podcast, I think I said that. Although we met at work, we actually are friends.
Yeah.
This is how we talk,
We
and
do go
most
off on
girls,
tangents.
if not all girls, can agree that we talk about 20 topics at one time. So
And then go
this
off.
is us. So we're gonna try and stick to topics as much as possible. But as you
Yeah.
notice, a lot of topics overlap.
Oh, yes. That's why we keep
Yeah.
So,
switching.
we come back and forth and back and forth. But I hope everybody has understood or got an idea of different labels or different stigmas that come with accessing that come with mental health in general in the black community. And there's plenty more that we haven't mentioned as of yet or mentioned at all, but you know what they are. And if you don't know, the person next to you knows.
So ask somebody.
Basically.
Somebody.
But feel free to kind of let us know your comments, opinions, comments, concerns, what you would like us to talk
Yeah.
about. We are going to touch on microaggression. We are going to touch on racism in the workplace or whatever else it is, or other things.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on all those things. But we are mindful that we do get excited. We only have a limited amount of
Oh,
time.
no.
Yes, we do.
But yeah, I hope everyone that listens to this has got something from it.
I agree.
Yeah, I hope so.
I agree.
I really do hope so. And if we haven't touched on everything that you wanted us to touch on in terms of stigma, because like Brianna said, we have gone off on several tangents and tried to come back and bring it back.
Sorry.
But
Won't be.
but yeah, if there's any types of stigma, or if you want us to just cover stigma again so that we actually stay on topic this time, we can do.
We'll try.
But just let
I
us
think we
know.
did
So you
good.
can inbox the show at Sweet Talks 777 on Instagram, and we will redo it, or we can come up with some of the stuff that you guys talk to us about, and anything that you want us to discuss.
Yeah.
We are thinking about having a live episode.
Whew. Yeah.
So if you actually want
Maybe
to
in the
get
new year.
involved in the show, it might be in the new year, might be before. We don't know yet. We'll see. But possibly we'll see. But yeah, so we're gonna have like a live show. So if you want to get involved at any point, again, you can contact us on the Instagram page, which is again at Sweet Talks 777 on Instagram, or you can message any one of us. I think there's some posts where we're all connected in it.
Yes.
But
Yes,
if
indeed.
not, then yeah, that's the safest place to try and get at us. Or leave comments in this Spreaker.com website where the podcast is also listed, and we can go from there.
Yeah, definitely. And like Shanta, if you've got any scenarios that you want us to answer as well, like our opinion on
Yeah.
whatever experience that you have experienced, that would be great. So
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the end of the show, ladies. Once again, it's been wonderful talking with you. And guys, thank you for listening. We're very grateful.
Thank you.
And we will see you and speak to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.